Hey everyone, welcome to our Wednesday session. And today's session is going to be all about the power of our breath. So I don't know if all of you are feeling the stress and tension like I am. It is really overwhelming right now. But one of the things that works for me always, without fail, is when I breathe. Now, I am not a calm person. I don't know if you pick up on that as you're watching these sessions, because I'm very passionate, right? Passionate people they aren't very calm. So I am not a calm person. I can be calm, but I'm not naturally calm. And I am very reactive. I remember one time I went to my acupuncturist and she said, your body is just like your personality. You're so reactive, right? So my body goes, and I get scared really easy and I get excited really easy, right? So my body is just like that. Well, that's overload for a body, when you have that. But even if you aren't like me, even if you're calm, but you have those moments of anxiety, of stress, we have to find ways to replenish our body. So if we're in constant fight, flight, or freeze mode, which really nowadays, ever since COVID, we really are. I mean, COVID did a really big number to us. If you think about it, when COVID happened, everything shut down. And then it was like, oh, everything's open again. Remember in the summer? Oh, it's fine, it's gone. And then the fall came, and that's when I got sick and it was back, right? And then it was gone again, and then it came back. So we were constantly going like this, and you'd make plans. I remember my brother was planning to get married in 2020 in May. Of course, he couldn't. So then he got married in 2021, but it almost didn't happen. And so for almost 2 years, we couldn't even make plans and be guaranteed that they wouldn't be canceled because of COVID. So when you have that kind of stress, when you're constantly going like this and this and this, you start to create a higher baseline, right? Like, so your stress level used to be pretty low, and now your stress level is higher, yet you don't really feel it as much because it's your new normal. But when you relax and, like, let's say you go get a massage, or you just relax and listen to music, or do something that's really soothing to you, like, if you're a painter, you go and paint. If you're a musician, you go and play a musical instrument, whatever that is for you that just kind of brings you peace. For me, it's being around animals or doing yoga, whatever that is. You start to realize, oh my gosh, I was holding on to so much stress. Even if you didn't feel like you were holding on to stress, even if you felt like, yeah, I feel fine. But then when you're doing that activity, you're like, wow, I really notice I'm so much calmer now. So it's really important that we check in with ourselves all the time to make sure that we're not allowing this stress and this hypertension and anxiety to be our new normal. We want our normal to be calm. We want our normal to be like, oh yeah, this is happening, right? So like the Buddhist way, and even in Reiki, there's a really great story, and it's about the story is tied to I don't, it's tied to worry. And it's a story that I'm sure you've heard many times. It's a story about a farmer who had a little farm, and he had a son that worked the farm with him. And he had one horse, and the horse would plow the fields. And one day the horse escaped, and the neighbor came running over and said, oh my gosh, what are you going to do? Now you're not going to be able to farm because you no longer have a horse. And the farmer said, perhaps. And then the next day, the horse came back with 3 other horses. And so now he was like, oh my gosh, so rich, right? He's got 4 horses to help him with his farm. So the neighbor comes running over, oh my gosh, you're so blessed. You're so lucky you have 4 horses. And the farmer said, perhaps. And then the next day, the son was trying to break the horses, train the horses, and he fell and broke his leg. And so, of course, here comes the neighbor. Oh my gosh, this is so bad. This is so sad. And the farmer said, perhaps. And then what happened was the day after that, the army came to get the son, to recruit the son for the army, but they couldn't take him because his leg was broke. So it's like, it's constantly like this, up and down. Our life is up and down with seeming bad things and seeming good things. But if we're reacting like, oh my gosh, this is so bad. Oh my gosh, this is so great. Like I do a lot of times. Then we're constantly like this, and our body is getting depleted. And so we think, okay, well, how can I replenish my body? I can go get a massage. I can do meditation. I can, take supplements. I can do all these things, right? But we very rarely think about our breath, which is really powerful. And our breath is with us all the time, and it's totally free. But we don't, because we're so used to the way we react, we don't even think about our breath. And when we're stressed, even when we're excited, we're not really breathing. But animals show us how to breathe, right? You see animals like when they first go to settle down, they take big, deep breaths, right? You might hear them sigh. There's so much power in sighing. There's even science behind this. So when you are stressed and you just sigh, there's a huge release in your body. So I want us all to just take a minute, and we're going to do this for a couple times. And I want you to just breathe in deeply and then and do a really big sigh. We're going to do like 4 of that. So breathe in deeply through your nose, and then really expand your belly, and then just like really sigh. Make a verbal, nobody's going to hear you here. So just keep doing it a couple more times, breathing in, really pull that breath in, right? And then, now that's exaggerated, but how do you feel in your body right now? Just check in with yourself. And do you feel a little bit better? I know I feel a little bit better. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm kind of feeling a little more balanced. I'm feeling a little more inward and not so outward, because I just came from a really stressful morning. So it's like, but now I feel like good. And if you think about this, I was listening to Brene Brown the other day, and she was talking about this, how calm people, when you tell them bad news, they go, right? And I know my parents would do that, right? I would come to them and they would go, what? And ask questions. And Brene Brown was kind of saying the same thing. It's like, that's what you do. Calm people will go and kind of give themselves that space and go, okay, what? Now tell me what happened. And they get questions, right? And if you tell them something outrageous, they go, okay. And they constantly stop with that pause, and it's so powerful. And so when you're out there and somebody comes to you with some really, oh, this is happening, just sigh and go, okay. Because that sigh gives you that little bit of space where you can bring calm in. Now, isn't that easy? I mean, that is like the easiest breath you can possibly do. So I really encourage you. I'm going to give you a bunch of little breaths. Pick out whichever one you like, but just do it in the morning when you get up. And make a note to yourself, because you'll forget. So just put a note by your bed, put a note in your journal, wherever you're going to see it, even in the morning before you go brush your teeth, or at night when you brush it, put a little note there that says sigh 3 times. And just get yourself into that practice of, so you're just letting go of that day, right? And if you wake up in the morning and you do it, you're like, I'm just going to let go of any stress that I'm hanging on with this day, right? And that kind of gets you prepared for your all as well. So if you sigh and get out any tension, now you can really say to yourself, okay, today's going to be a good day. All is well, all is well, all is well, right? We really want to always bring in our always all is well thing, because it's so powerful. So if we're doing that practice, just that simple sigh, see, is that, and you know me, I'm lazy, right? I mean, everybody thinks I'm an overachiever. Everyone thinks, oh my God, Leah, you do this, and I do a lot, but I am lazy. I don't like a ton of steps. I like easy steps. So when I first learned Animal Reiki, and I've told you guys this many times, my brain goes, I couldn't sit and meditate. Like 5 minutes literally would have been 5 hours. I remember, and I know some of you, I know Claudia has heard this. I was meditating for like 1 minute, and I literally thought it was like 10 minutes. And I looked at my timer. I'm like, that can't be right. Because that's how painful it was for me. So if you can't meditate, please, you are not alone. This isn't even a natural, especially in today's, where we've got our phone next to us all the time. We're like, oh, it's our brains are going all the time. So one of the easiest ways that I started with Animal Reiki was I recited the precepts and I practiced the breath. And we're going to do that breath in a little while, but we're not going to do the Joshin Kokyoho or the breath of light. You know, I say Joshin Kokyoho, that's the Japanese name for it, but I'm just going to call it the breath of life here. And you'll know it when we do it. It's like when we become the sun, but I would just do the precepts and that breath of light. And that helped me to get calm, to be calm, because I had something to keep my mind occupied, the precepts. I had something to keep my body calm, which was the breath. And that's all I needed, right? Because when you're calm, when you bring peace and calm into your body and you have something to keep your mind occupied, your energy starts to get really, really calm. And that's what animals are attracted to. They're not attracted to how we look, right? They're not attracted, oh, I'm a brunette. Oh, animals that are attracted to brunettes love me. No, they're not attracted to my words. They're attracted to my energy. And yes, sometimes I can speak to animals, like, you know, I go speak to the crows all the time, and I know they hear my voice and they know my tone, but it's really my tone and the energy behind my tone. And so animals, that's what they're really connecting with. So if you go up, if you're stressed out and you're like, oh, they're like, ooh. And it's not because you're talking high or talking fast. It's because your energy is going, and they feel that, because that is how they communicate, is through energy. So the best thing that we can do to have the deepest connection with animals is to bring instant calm into our bodies. So if you're going into the shelter, which the shelter is a very stressful place, and I know that Charisse is here on the call, and Charisse works at a rehabilitation, wildlife rehabilitation site, and it's very chaotic there. She was sharing that she helps to feed some of the babies, and as she's feeding, she feels that stress and that chaos that's happening around her as everybody's working really hard to help these animals. And most rehabilitation centers, sanctuaries, rescued, they're always short staffed. So there's always a lot of chaos going on. But imagine if you, instead of joining that chaos, you just stop and do your sighs, just bring that peace into your body. And remember, peace is contagious. Stress is contagious, as we know, but so is peace. And so if you get peaceful and the animals start to get peaceful, then the people will start to get peaceful. And I love that in the shelter, when you go into a shelter and you sit and you're really peaceful and your energy is calm and your breath is calm and the way you speak to the other volunteers is calm, then they immediately start to calm down. So if someone comes up to you and is like, blah, 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 the best thing you can do is just do your sigh, right? And then talk to them slowly and low. Because when you talk to somebody slowly and low, when they're all like here, they start to match you. They go, oh, okay, I gotta match that energy, right? And not right away. They might be like, oh, but you can help them to get into that space by just being calm, right? Your energy is calm. So one of the other breaths that we can do, and this one isn't my favorite, but I want to share it with you because I'm going to share with you some that are my favorites and some that are not, that are just like, I don't really use them. I know how to use them, but I don't use them because I don't feel like they help my body a lot. So the next one I want to talk to you about, this one has been used for years and years and years and years. It just doesn't help me get that calm, but we're going to do it together. So just make sure, throughout this call, just make sure you're just in a nice place, straight place, your spine's nice and straight, you're comfortable. And so this one is the 4 square. So, the square of breathing, where you breathe in for 4, you hold for 4, you breathe out for 4, you hold for 4. You breathe in for 4, you hold for 4, you breathe out for 4, you hold for 4, right? So it's breathe in, hold, breathe out, hold. And so I'm going to walk you through it and just join with me. So we want to start breathing in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll just breathe in. So that one, and I would love, like, throw in the chat any kind of observations or anything you want to say about this, because for me, that one, I don't know, I just can't get the cadence. It just doesn't ever really suit me. And I'm sure you could probably do 3, like hold for 3 or breathe in for 3, whatever that is for you. But 4 is usually what they say. And so 4 is too short. Yeah, see, and that is my go-to when I can't sleep. Oh, that's wonderful to hear, Claudia, because you know what? This is why I'm going to show you guys a bunch of different ones, because what works for me may not work for you. And like what works for Claudia doesn't work for me, but I love that. You should have, knowledge is power, right, you guys? This is why I like to share as much as possible. If you take my class, like my online class, my Animal Reiki for Reiki practitioners class, even the self-study one, I just flood you with information. I know Claudia, I can see Claudia, and Claudia in my classes, like, it's almost too much. But I like to give people lots of information because you're going to take from it what you want. So Hillary says she likes this. Cherise says 4 is fine, but my count is slower. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to go back up here for a minute. Diane says the square breath, call me this time. That has never happened before. Oh, hey, Diane, I love that. And then let's see. Diane says my mind is always busy. So this gives it something to think about. Yeah, and that is a good thing with the 4 square because, right, your mind has something to grab onto because you're counting. Even as I get grounded through, this practice, yes. And then Monica says, I know this from an Indian teacher, right, 4, 4, 8, 4. So you're blowing out. So we're going to talk about that too. I love that you brought that up, Monica, because yeah, and Charisse too. So the power of this, and you don't even have to do the 4 square. So what they're talking about is you breathe in for 4, 2, 3, 4. You hold for 4, 2, 3, 4, and you breathe out for 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You hold 2, 3, 4. You breathe in 2, 3, 4. You hold 2, 3, 4. You breathe out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You hold 2, 3, 4. You breathe in 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4, and you breathe out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The reason for that is you always really, like when we're doing that sigh, right? We breathe in. When we sigh, a lot more energy is going out than is going in. There is science behind that. You want to make sure you're releasing your breath. And there is the release of, so let's see, Cherise says, but I can't keep those methods on for a whole meditation, but it gets me started. I repeat the cycle like 8 times, then do my meditation. What you can do if you don't want to do it like in a weird square with a tail, because you've got that long 8, what you can do is you can just breathe in. You can breathe in 2, 3, 4, 5, and then breathe out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's see. Teresa says, but I can't keep these methods up for. Oh wait, that's it. And then she does a measure. Okay. And then Jess says, what is the 8 count? Oh, you know what? I don't. You mean the 4 square? The 4 square, I think it's called 4 square breathing, but the one with the 8, and I'll find the name for you. I'll put it in the recap because this is what you can do. We'll do it for 3 here. You breathe in 2, 3, 4, and you breathe out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You breathe in 2, 3, 4. You breathe out 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You breathe in 2, 3, 4. You breathe out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or you breathe out for 6 or you breathe out for 7, whatever you can get out. And that count really empties the air that always remains in the lungs, called, oh my God, I gotta need my glasses, called end tidal volume. Okay, really a complete air exchange with that long exhalation. Thank you, Hillary, for that. So she has the proper name for it. But it's breathing out longer than you're breathing in is very powerful, and it stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system. So Dr. Andrew Huberman, many of you might know him. Joyce says there is also in for 7 and out for 11. It's the counting that affects the brain into calm. Yeah. So, and any of those, just make sure your out breath is longer than your in breath. That's all you have to do. So let's say you have, what is it? CPD or OCPD, or my uncle has it, where you have a really hard time breathing. And maybe breathing in for just like 2 breaths, 3 breaths is really hard for you. Breathe in for what you can. Just when you release your, COPD, thank you, Hillary. It's my scientific backup here. COPD, yes. So, but the thing is here, you just want to make sure your out breath is longer than your in breath. That's all you want to do. So you don't have to, there's no real right or wrong, because every body is different, right? So your body isn't my body isn't yours. So some people can breathe in, hold the breath for 8 and breathe out for 11, 12. That's really powerful. You may or may not be able to do that, but you can work up to it, and you will. So Dr. Andrew Huberman, yes, and Charisse, the pause in between the breath, and that's what we're going to do in a minute. But I want to talk to you a little bit about Dr. Huberman, Andrew Huberman's, it's called the psychological sigh. So it's kind of like what we did, but this one we're going to do a little bit differently. So, and we're not going to count. We don't need to count, but I just want you, this is going to necessitate you breathing in deeply into your belly, right? So just like with the Joshin Kokyo-ho, with the Hara breathing that we teach in the Let Animals Lead method of Animal Reiki, we're going to do that. And if it helps to put your hand on your stomach, that's great. So what we're going to do is we're going to be breathing in deeply into our belly, right? Deep into our lungs, into our belly. And we're going to breathe in as deeply as we can, right? Until we've filled up our whole bodies. And then we're going to take another little short in breath, right? We're just going to top it off with another breath. And then we're going to slowly breathe out our mouth. Now, I've done this a few times here on these sessions, but if you're new to us, this is something that's not only a really simple breath to do, but it's very powerful. It stimulates the vagus nerve. It stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system. And it's scientifically proven to bring calm, to help your mind release anxiety, stress. Let's see, what else does he have here? Yeah, it resets your nervous system. So just like I was talking about before, how we have all these stressors in our lives and our system gets totally whacked out, this breath is really incredibly powerful for bringing peace into your body. Now, this is my all-time favorite breath. I love this breath. I've been doing this breath for a long time. Before I heard that Dr. Huberman was calling it the psychological, what does he call it? The physiological sigh is what he calls it, the physiological sigh. And he has a little, I'll put the link to his, I think he was on a Tonight Show or something, to Dr. Huberman's. It's just like 1 minute on YouTube. And he talks about how to do this. But again, we're just going to breathe in deeply into our lungs, into our belly, and then breathe in one more on top. And then we're going to release it out our mouth. Now, here's the thing. When I've been doing this, I was taught you breathe out your mouth as if you're breathing out a straw, right? You're going to put your mouth in a no, but you don't have to do that. You can just breathe out your mouth, just whatever is comfortable for you, but play around with it, right? Because you might find that by bringing your mouth into an O actually helps to, release stress further. And what I want you to do is, when we're breathing in, right, we fill up our belly, And then we top it off. And now we're going to release our air, however that feels to you, whether pursed lips or just mouth open. But as your breath leaves your body, I want you to imagine that you're breathing out all tension. So you can visualize it like as smoke or just as black gunk or whatever that is to you, or maybe it's just like blue, whatever that is. Just imagine that you're just breathing out stress and tension into the ether, and it's being turned into love and light as you breathe it out, right? The universal energy is just taking that and turning it into gold. Okay, so let's do this we're going to do this for a few breaths because I really want us to really feel this. So let's close our eyes. So we close out all outside distractions. And let's bring our hands into Gasho. And since we're going to do this for a few minutes, I just want to dedicate the energy of what we're creating together to all sentient beings. And let's take a moment to dedicate this energy that we're going to create to ourselves to help support our mind, body, and our spirit. And whenever you're ready, you can bring your hands face down or face up in your lap, or you can put them, on your belly. And now we're going to slowly breathe in through our nose, pulling our breath deep into our belly. Expand your belly. And when your belly's full, take one more short little breath. And now slowly release your breath out your mouth. And with your breath goes all tension that you're holding on to in your body. And whenever you're ready, you can start it again. And you don't have to keep up with me. I'm just going to keep walking us through it, but at your own pace. Breathe in through your nose. Expand your belly as big as you can. Really fill up your body with air. And then one more short breath. And then slowly releasing your breath out your mouth. And as the breath leaves your body, so does all tension, stress, anxiety, fear, anything that is no longer serving you leaves your body. And just continue that breath and feel your body as it starts to really deeply relax. As you release your breath, feel your shoulders soften, your neck softens, your jaw releases any tension. Maybe your tongue is in a more relaxed position in your mouth. You feel the tension behind your eyes leave. Any tension you're holding onto between your eyes, I hold a lot of tension in my forehead between my eyes, starts to leave. And just feel your body relax. And just remember that when we're breathing in, we're really expanding our lungs, our belly, filling our lungs and belly to the very top with air, and then short breath on top of that, and then slow release. And allow your body to just feel relaxed. Allow that really wonderful, yummy feeling where your body feels no stress, feels really relaxed and happy. Because when we're relaxed, guess what comes up for us? Joy comes up for us. Love comes up for us. And so as you release what no longer serves you, I want you to feel what does serve you rising up in your belly. So now, as you start to feel more relaxed, allow yourself to start to feel happy and joyful. Keep your breath, the same breath, expanding your belly, topping it off, and then releasing through your mouth. But now that you're getting more relaxed, I want you to allow yourself to feel that beautiful energy of love, the energy of joy that is always within you, start to come up, start to build within you. Allow yourself to feel happy. Allow yourself to smile if you feel you want to smile. Allow yourself to feel joy, because this is the energy that animals connect to. This beautiful feeling of joy. And you can almost feel it coming up into your heart and expanding at your heart as you allow yourself to release anger, anxiety, fear, worry. These beautiful emotions start to come up, right? Loving, kindness, compassion. That is who you truly are. And by doing this breath, we're getting back to our true nature. And you can just bring your breath back to a normal state. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes and bring yourself back. And let's go into Gasho really quickly and just thank ourselves. Say thank you. Thank you for doing this for me, right? Your body is thanking you. Thank yourself. Say, yes, you're welcome. Now, I would love to hear how that felt for all of you. Now, that is my all-time favorite. That is my go-to. That is, I'm totally stressed out. Whew, I go to that. But I always learned it as the straw breath, because it's like you're breathing out of straw. That's just what I was taught years ago in meditation class. But Dr. Huberman calls it the physiological sigh. And I think there was even, Dr. Huberman is a Stanford scientist. So I know Stanford did a study on this. So it could have been his study. I'm not sure. But you can really, yeah. And Claudia, oh my God, thank you. Everybody need a drink. As we release this, our bodies, like, they're working, right? Your body is working. You do need to drink. I'm so glad you did that, because I'm like, yes, I'm feeling gotta drink. And Hillary says, definitely using it at the shelter tomorrow. Yes, Hillary, and do a report next week, because next week we're going to be talking about expectations. And I have one of my students, Lauren, is going to come and talk about this experience she had at a horse rescue with these. It's almost like the same that Kathleen had with these shut down horses and their response to Lauren. And it's really how Lauren got into the shelter, how Lauren operated when she was there. And so we're going to have a really great conversation about expectations when you take them into shelters, rescues, and when you have expectations of the animals. But Hillary, I would love to hear from you. And Kathleen says, very relaxing, very peaceful. Jess says, love the slow release and receiving, right? Yes. I love the receiving too, because remember, we have all this love, all this peace, joy, this compassion within us. But the stress, the worry, the anger, all these things, they push that down. And pretty soon we feel like, oh, I'm an angry person, I'm a worried person, I'm a stressed person, I'm an anxious person, I have anxiety, right? But really, you aren't. At your core, you are a loving, joyful, happy, peaceful person. And this breath helps us get there. So I love that visualization of just releasing your stress and then feeling, because for me, that's exactly what I feel. As soon as that stress starts to go, what bubbles up for me is love and joy and happiness. And that's my true self. So really, we're getting back to that. And then Cherie says, laugh out loud. My cat has been on my lap through this meeting, but when I did the breathing, she sighed and put her head down and stretched out. That's so cute. And then Rebecca Norris is definitely going to keep using this. Yes. Like at night too, when you're going to bed, when you wake up, use these breathing techniques at night and in the morning as like a routine. Because when you're stressed, if you don't do this as a routine, when you're stressed, what's going to happen is you're going to forget about this, and you're going to go into that stress, that fight, flight, or freeze mode, right? Instead of being calm and thinking clearly about things. So practice it outside of being really stressed or having something happen, so that when you do get stressed, it's going to come to you. It's going to go, oh no, that psychological sigh, and then you can do your mouth breathing. And nobody even needs to know. I do it in Zoom meetings, because I have a stressful job now. And so I'll cover my mouth and just and just sigh like this as people are like, la, 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 you know, and it's like, okay, I need a moment. So Diane says, I love this technique. Even my 3 cats relaxed into their pillows with me. Aw, thank you. And she said, thank you. You're welcome. Sharon says, these are great tools to have. Yes, they are. Hillary gave a thumbs up. Jess says, one of the dogs I'm caring for came up next to me during it and jumped on the chair and put a paw on me. Oh, so sweet. You can see where the animals really respond to us when we finally go, right? Because we don't realize how stressed we are until we do these type of exercises. And then we realize, oh, wow. Like for me, I feel so much better in my body right now. And I hope all of you do too. If you are practicing, I hope you're feeling that power of what your breath can do for you. And this is a tool that is, we have no excuse not to use this tool, right? It's with us all the time. It's free. We never have to, oh, I have to go get my breath. Your breath is always right there. So you have no excuses, right? You've just got to use your breath. And you can even check in with yourself when you're feeling stressed and go, oh God, I'm not even breathing, right? Because if you take a deep breath when you're stressed, you're like, wow, I wasn't even breathing. I was just going. And it's amazing how resilient our bodies are, how we don't really breathe in deep most of our days. Even like, that's why I love yoga, because it's I have to force myself to focus on my breath. And I'm really bringing that breath into my body. And I love that because normally I'm not breathing deeply at all. Unless I'm doing somebody comes to me with a problem and I have to do my, and it feels so good to do that, you guys. Like if you just think about it, just give yourself that positive. And when Brene Brown was reminding me of that, I was just thinking about my parents, because especially my stepfather was so great. He was such a calm man. Just everything was very calm. And so you'd be out and he would just, oh my gosh. And you know who else was like that? John. So John was our IT guy. And sadly, he passed away in 2022. And I just love John to death. And he was IT. So he helped Kathleen with Animal Reiki Source since I think, gosh, probably 2004 or 5. And then he helped Sarah from 2008 on. And, you know, and then he also helped me with my other side businesses. And so, of course, there's crisis all the time, right? John, John, John. And John would just be all, it's fine. It's okay. He'd always just be so calm. And there's so much power in that, right? So you can imagine for us people, when other humans are super calm around us, imagine for stressed out animals, how powerful that is when we're calm. Like I just had to take my dog, to the little one, Nina, to the vet. And she shakes, like just her whole body is shaking. She does not like the vet. And the vet is so sweet. He's such a nice man, and it's a great place, but she just doesn't like it. And so just like me breathing and being calm and talking to her calmly, I can feel she's still shaking, but she shakes less, like when we first get in there, she's just like an earthquake. But then as we sit and I breathe with her and I calm, you know, I talk calmly to her, she's still shaking a little, but it's much less. She's a little bit calmer, and she'll have moments where she doesn't shake at all and then she starts shaking. So it's really a gift that we can give to animals, whether you know Animal Reiki or not. If you're let's say you know Animal Reiki and you're just not getting, you can feel there's no connection with this animal, check in with yourself and go, okay, you know what, I'm just going to focus on my breath. Because you heard, just like the couple of people that had animals, how powerful that is for them. And Lauren's going to talk about that next week, how powerful this, you know, she was doing the Joshin Kokyo Ho breath, which is the breath of light, you know, breathing into your belly. And we're going to do that in a few minutes. But how powerful that breath was with these horses who literally didn't like humans. And they were going up to Lauren, and I'll let her we have a little video for you to share, but it was just amazing to hear. And it's such an amazing thing to experience for you guys. So, you know, when you first have that experience with an animal that is completely shut down and they come up to you, you're just like, oh my gosh, that is amazing, right? So I think I shared last week at CARE how one of the little volunteers, I think her name was Andrea or something, she's so sweet, and how she went in with the foxes, Autumn and Summer, and one of them, I mean, they're both really skittish, but one of them, I think Summer just does not like people at all. And she had raw chicken and she was feeding them, and the little Summer came and took it out of her hand. And she came back, she's like, oh my gosh, this happened. And I was talking to her about it. Like, she doesn't know Animal Reiki. She hasn't taken our classes. She had just started there like 3 months ago. So she didn't even know me. And I was explaining to her why. And then Kristen's like, that's never happened to me. And Kristen is like the epitome of calm. Kristen's always, but she's always got a lot on her mind, right? And she's short staffed right now. So for Kristen, when she's going in there, she has a different energy. Yes, she's calm. They trust her. But when I'll just call her Andrea. When she went in, she was completely calm, right? And she wanted them to feel at peace. So she was focused on her calm. And then that was the reward that she got, that one of the foxes came and took meat out of her hand. And Kristen, who's had the foxes, I mean, at least 2 years. They've been there at least 2 years. Never happened. And here this little volunteer comes in, and Kristen loves this new volunteer. Kristen's been short on volunteers, so it's really nice that Andrea was there, that's there volunteering now, because she has wonderful energy. So you don't even have to know, you don't have to have special training or anything in order to have a really deep bond with animals. You don't have to, okay, I've got to do Reiki on myself. I've got to beam Reiki. I've got to, put hands on, or like we like to do things, right? We're doers, humans. We want to fix everything. Animals don't need us to fix anything. They just need us to be. And I know for a long time that was Kathleen, the founder of the Let Animals Lead Way. That was her kind of tagline, to be Reiki, right? Just be. You don't have to do anything. So these breaths that we're doing, they're so powerful and they can bring us so much, but we really have to be mindful of it and practice it, because it just doesn't happen naturally. If you're like me and you're a spazzy person, and I will say I'm a spaz, then, I have to work on bringing these tools in. And that's why I like sharing them with you, because I know there's people out there like me, and maybe you're not as bad as me, but right now in the times that we're living in, no matter where you are in this world, there's a lot of stress for you. No matter who you are, there is a lot of stress. So when we can find these tools, these really simple tools that help bring us back into our body and into balance, we can think about things more clearly, right? We can see solutions to problems more clearly. When we're in what's called high beta, right? When you're stressed. So right now we're in beta. When you're stressed out, you're in high beta. And high beta is a state where, I mean, you can be in high beta, like let's say you're taking a test, you can be in high beta because you're thinking and did it. But a lot of times high beta is when we're stressed and our mind is just chasing itself. It's like you're chasing your own tail. And when you're in that high beta, you literally cannot think straight. So I don't know, like, if any of you have received bad news at some, like, a friend was hurt, or a partner was hurt, or a child was hurt, and you immediately go into just this anxiety and your mind is racing and you can't even hear what other people are saying to you. That is high beta. And when you're in that state, you honestly can't think straight. Like, I have a few friends that are widows, sadly. And I, for each of them, when they were going through that time, your body goes into shock, right? And you really can't even though you look and act like you're normal, your mind is just up here in this stress zone. And so having that breath to just kind of bring you back into your body is really, really powerful. And if you're more like tactile, when you're doing that physiological breath, put your hand on your belly and just feel the rise of your belly and feel the depletion, right? The rise and fall of your belly, just in and out. When you're doing the mindful sigh, right? When you're breathing in and you're breathing out, you can just put your hands on your belly. Our hands are really comforting. Or you can do this, right? You can rub your shoulders. You can do this and calm your body as you breathe. This is really powerful when you do this. You know, if you want to just try it right now, it's like when you rub your arms, there's something about this when we're like babies. They were saying that, you know, we have that comfort from our moms. And so when you do that, you can just kind of feel like your body going, oh, that feels good. Oh, thank you. You know, we just have to give back to ourselves. So I do this. I do this. Oh my God, calm down, Leah, calm down. So just like a short recap, because I want to give us time because we're going to do the breath of life. And just you can do the sigh, right? Just like that's really powerful. The 4 square, where you're just doing 4, 4, 4, 4. Or you can do like what Monica and I think Charisse was saying, and maybe Hillary was saying too, that you're doing the 4, 4, 8, and then 4. Or you can do just breathe in for 4, 5, 6, and breathe out for 8, 9, 10, you know, whatever that is. Always making sure your out breath is longer than your in breath, because you really want to stimulate that nervous system. And so you're breathing in, but you're breathing out and pulling that out of you. You know, it's almost like you're really pulling the bad stuff out with your out breath. You could just imagine. So Dr. Joe Dispenza, you know, when I did his week-long retreat, you can go on YouTube and you can buy his meditations, and he talks about pulling your breath up from your perineum up through your body, through, he doesn't call them chakras, he calls them energy centers, but you know, through your energy centers all the way to right here above your head, right? And so he talks about that. But what he doesn't tell you is the breath that you learn in his retreat is different. So when you listen to his videos, you listen to his recordings that he sells, he's saying, okay, pull your breath up, keep pulling up, you know, and then envision your breath is coming up. So you're almost pulling your breath up like a straw out. But what you do is you engage your perineum, you engage your stomach, you engage your chest, you tighten them, you know, and you really feel your perineum, and then you breathe in. And you visualize that breath coming up, 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 up. And he says, keep pulling up, up, but then he stops, right? But what it is you have to keep pulling up. You go, and you keep pulling and engaging your perineum, and you're really getting that force of the air coming up, 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 up. So if you do any of his meditations and he's talking about that, engaging the perineum and coming up, just know that you're supposed to continue to pull that breath up. So you're just pulling and pulling and pulling, and you can't even pull sometimes, but you really are, because you just want to engage your perineum and keep pulling up. And there's science behind that, and I don't remember the science, but if anyone's interested, just reach out to me and I'll find it for you. But there is power in that. It's the power of your breath pulling everything up, up and out. And so that's just like a more advanced one, but we're doing a lot of that. We're not doing the upwards out, but we're doing this out. And that's like the beginning steps of that, right? We're really releasing our breath. And so I want to do that, but I just want to, let's see, make sure that I got everything here. And then, you know, I talked a little bit about the precepts, like how I would do the precepts and the next meditation that we're going to do, but to keep my mind occupied. But if you don't know the precepts, because some Reiki lineages, I don't think they focus that much on the precepts. So maybe you weren't taught to focus on the precepts, or maybe you don't know Reiki and you're just here because you love animals. One of the most powerful things you can do is the Louise Hay mantra, you know, affirmation. You can say, I am safe, I am loved, all is well, to yourself, because when you say those words and you just feel them in your heart, your body starts to calm down. And if you're with an animal, you can say, you are safe, you are loved, all is well. Or if you want to be included in this, we are safe, we are well, or we are safe, we are well. We are safe, we are loved, all is well. That is really powerful too, because our words have energy, right? They have energy. And I just want to make sure that we have everyone. Yeah, okay. So I want us to now, I don't know if you have any questions. If anyone has any questions, you can just unmute and come on. And if no one does, we'll do the breath of light because I want us to have enough time before we end. But if you have any questions or you just want to add something, you can just unmute, come on, and I'll go to gallery view really fast. So if anyone, yeah, Claudia, please.
I just how it works like in real life, right? So this morning, our cat needs gabapentin twice a day orally through a syringe. And normally, I always do that with my husband because there's no way in hell you can do that by yourself with him. But for the first time since we've got this guy, my husband needs to go out of town for work, right? So this morning was the first time I had to give him his medication all by myself. And I was stressing out and like, this is not going to work. Okay, tried pill pocket first. Didn't take the pill pocket. Then put it over his food. Didn't want his food. And I was like, oh my God, and now what? My dog starts whining. I start flipping out. And I'm like, somewhere in the back of my mind, it's like, oh, and this afternoon we're going to talk about the breath. And I was like, oh, breath. And I took 3 HARA breaths, then did the all is well, all is well, all is well. Then said to myself, we're just going to do this. Took the syringe, went up to him, half a second, it was in, and it was it. It was just amazing. And he was just looking at me like, see, that wasn't that hard.
Oh my God.
Right?
I love that so much.
Yeah,
That
it
is,
was
I'm so
really
glad you
cool.
shared that because it's true. We create that energy of stress. We're responsible for it, right? Because they feel, oh, this is something's going south here. I got to get scared, right? And yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing that, Claudia. So use your breath, everyone. Use your breath. So let's go into the breath of light meditation. Gilly, so good to see you. So glad you came on video. So what we're going to do is we're going to close our eyes again, and we're just going to say to ourselves, our dedication again to ourselves. We're going to do this for ourselves and for all sentient beings, whatever energy is created through this beautiful meditation. Now, the breath of light, what we're doing here is we're breathing in deeply into our belly, just like we've been doing. But I want you to imagine that when your breath hits your belly, it ignites a light within you. And on the out breath, as you breathe out through your mouth, I want you to imagine the light at your belly expanding into your body. And so with every breath in, the breath touches the light. And with every breath out, the light expands within our body. And pretty soon, as we breathe in and out and in and out, your entire body will be filled with light. And then the light will start to seep out into the space around you so that you become like a beautiful sun. And that is what our intent is that our energy is like the sun. We don't have to direct it. We just have to be. We just shine our beautiful energy of love and light and compassion. And whoever wants to connect with us will. And this is incredibly powerful. So we close our eyes and we breathe in deeply through our nose. Expand your belly and envision the light at your belly expanding out on your out breath. And when you breathe in, visualize your breath connecting again to your light. And on the out breath, as you release your breath, the light within you expands. And again, this is your true essence. This is the essence you are born with. The essence of love, of light, of peace, of joy, compassion, of wisdom. This is you at your most perfect. And just allow yourself to visualize your body filling with light and that light starting to expand into the space around you. And when you visualize your light, it might be white, It might be gold, purple, blue. It could be multicolored. This is your own unique light. It is the light the animals connect to. And allow yourself to feel the joy and love that is starting to come up with the light. Allow yourself to feel peaceful, to feel happy. Your body may start to feel lighter. You might start to feel a little taller. In this beautiful space, you are exactly who you are meant to be, a loving, kind, and compassionate person. And this beautiful light that you're expanding out of your body and into the space around you, this is the light that animals connect to. Your light connects to nature and all of the world around you. And your light has no limit. As you breathe in and out, you can visualize your light expanding out further and further. Like the sun, you are powerful and you are strong and you are infinite. Your rays go far, far out into the world, bringing love and light to all dark places. Visualize your light surrounding the earth, cradling the earth with love, compassion, joy, and peace. Your energy is infinite. Your love and light are infinite. Allow yourself to feel that expansive nature. To know that in this space, all things are possible. Back to your breath, back to your light, back to that beautiful feeling of love within you. Now, I'd like to bring our hands into Gasho and let us give thanks to any animals that joined us. Let us give thanks to ourselves for being here. And I give thanks to all of you for being here, whether you're with me live or watching later. I'm so grateful for this beautiful community that we've created together. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. Thank you all so much. And one thing I want to close with, one of the things that I'm so grateful for Dr. Dispenza for sharing with me, he does a meditation. It's not quite like that, but kind of, where you're just imagining yourself in space, right? That you're out there in space, meaning you're out there in just like the ether and you're out there in nothingness. And he says that when we do that, when we allow ourselves to just be, right? To let go of everything that we're worried about and hanging on to and just be in that beautiful space. Now, for us, it's that beautiful space of love and light. When you allow yourself that, he says, expect the unexpected. And I'm telling you right now, there is so much truth behind that. Because when you meditate, oh, thank you, Monica. When you meditate and you let go and you get into that beautiful space, and hopefully all of you felt a little bit of that today, that little bit where you're like, oh, yeah, I feel who I really am down deep, right? This beautiful, loving person. When you connect with that, expect the unexpected, because that is what brings change. Whether you want something, whether it's something you desire, you're putting it out to the universe, something that you want, something you're in that space where you already have it. And like we've talked about this, it's like, oh, you got to visualize it, blah, blah, blah. You don't. You just have to feel love and peace and know to expect the unexpected. because that space, that beautiful space of love, that is the law of attraction. That is what brings things to you. So the more we practice that, the better our lives get. And I'm telling you right now, I'm living proof of this. If I told you all the crazy things that have happened, you'd be amazed. But it's like everything always works out for me. And I've told you guys this throughout the last few years that I've been doing this. Everything always works out for me. Everything always works out for you. Be open to it and expect the unexpected. So I just wanted to end with that, because in this space, when we do that meditation, I always feel that. And I always feel like, oh yeah, everything is, all is well. Everything is right. Everything's going to work out. Expect the unexpected. And I promise you, something really amazing is going to happen. And you're going to go, what? Even if it's like, I found something. I had bought this cord like years ago, and I was like, oh, I just kept it. And I have like my new iPhone has a C thing, and I needed a C and a USB on the other end, and I couldn't find it on the internet. And I was like, oh my God, it was just there. I was like, oh, and it's silly, but it was life-changing. I didn't have a car charger because I only have USB jacks in my car. I don't have a C to C. And so, you guys, I mean, that's something small. I've had huge things happen for me in the last, the last few months since I took Dr. Joe's retreat. But I try to share with all of you as much as possible about that and other things that I've learned, because it is so simple to make your life just exponentially better through these practices. And that one meditation that we ended with, I promise you, it is truly life-changing. Just allow yourself to feel that joy and peace. And Hillary, first time in this group. Oh, yes, you can too, Hillary. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been wonderful to have you. Yes, I love it.
Great. Thank you, Leah.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And again, it doesn't matter if you're Let Animals Lead, or you've studied with William Rand's people, or maybe you're just new to this, or you're only human Reiki. Whatever you are welcome here, because we are all learning together, and we're all here because what we have in common is our beautiful love of animals and our desire to help them. So I hope you all have a wonderful week. I'm super excited because next week, like I said, Lauren Murphy's going to be here, and she's going to talk about expectation. And it's really going to help you if you've wanted to get into a shelter. Oh, you're welcome, Kathleen. If you want to get into, you're welcome, Rebecca and Lindsay. If you want to get into a shelter, you're going to want to see this. And so, Gilly, I'm so glad you came. And Soraya, I hope that I'm saying that right. You're so welcome. And Monica, you're welcome. And thank you all for using the chat too, because it makes our meeting so much more rich when we have that. So next week, big week. It's really incredible what this energy, the energy that we're creating in these little sessions, what we're creating for animals. It's really, don't worry about being late. Oh, so Gilly said she was late. Don't worry about it, people. If I don't let you in, it's because we're in the middle of something, but I will always let you in. This is casual. It's like a casual coffee chat, right? You're just coming and going. I'm just grateful you're here, Gilly. If you come late, you have to leave early. You guys, don't worry about it. This is a really wonderful, casual place. I want you all to feel safe. I want you all to feel loved and appreciated, right? Everybody wants to be seen, heard, and appreciated. Those are the three things. So I hope that I give that to you, and I hope that you get that from everyone else that's here. But yeah, next week's going to be big. So come next week, and I will give a recap on Friday, and I'll put some links, and I'll do Dr. Huberman's little demonstration of that. And then if I can find anything else, I'll put it out, especially like the 8 count. I don't know what that's called, but I will find the official, and I'll try to find a link to that as well. Okay. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much. Mwah. See you soon. Bye.